So the idea is that what we've seen recently, and it's confusing, and I get it. So either the loan officer or the borrower or the realtor are trying to like mask a investment property and have it written as a second home.
What would be the benefit of trying to?
Yeah. So like this happened to Danny the other day, where the realtor sent us a $400,000, and she says that it's a second home. It's a historic home, and the reason why is because with a investment property, and if it's a duplex, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac require that you put 25% down. Okay, and because that's considered, investment, it's a duplex, and so, but if you do it as a second home, you only have to put 10% down, and the rates
I thought that was a vacation home. It's 10%.
yeah, that's what I'm saying, is a
Okay.
second home, yeah, like a resort home. So that's the reason. So like a vacation home is a second home.
Okay.
That's what I mean. And so what should be like like you'd buy a house, right, in Galveston
Okay.
or Lake Travis. That's the second home, right? A second home is not, Huffman. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, so, but, and the thing is that, and we had a deal like that we're talking about, where it was Joe's loan, where, the guy lived like right here, and he was trying to refinance this house down, like literally down the street, and, trying to refi it, and they submitted it to Josh as a second home.
Mm-hmm.
And Josh was, obviously caught that, and couldn't do it as a second home because that's an investment property. You see what I'm saying? So versus him having that home located like on a resort or on an island or a golf course or something, whatever. So, and the benefit is that you get a 1% lower interest rate approximately. It's a huge rate difference and LTV difference, and so that's the reason. So I just want you guys to just understand that when that comes across to you. So here's a good one right here. In order to qualify for a second home, you must be at least 60 miles away.
It's false.
False.
How far do you have to be away?
100.
100 miles.
Wow. I'm wrong. It
Has
just
to be
changed
100 miles.
Yeah.
So I can't have a second home in Galveston.
Well, no, but actually, this needs to be extended. Oh, this is for FHA,
Which number is that?
176.
It needs to say FHA.
Yeah. For FHA. Um, 175. When buying a foreclosure, if we cannot get the utilities turned on, we cannot do the deal. What do you say?
That's true.
Unless we do what?
200K.
No, you'd have to do a 203K. If you can't get the utilities turned on, we can't do the loan. If it's a foreclosure, you need to ask that. If someone says, "Hey, Steve, I want to buy this foreclosure over here," first thing you got to know is, can we get those utilities turned on? Because the appraiser, when he goes out there, he needs to test the water, he needs to test everything. And if he can't get those things turned on, then we can't do a regular loan for them. They have to do a 203K or some type of renovation loan.
Why is that? Is it
Because of because the FHA requirements, they want them to test the utilities to make sure that they're working.
Okay.
And so this is something that you just have to, you learn by being in the business,
It has to do with habitability.
Yeah. So, let's see here. Duplexes and multi-units are allowed with USDA, true or false? As long as you have a reasonable explanation
False.
For FHA?
for USDA.
Nope.
Okay. Veterans allowed 2 VA loans at the same time?
That's a good one.
as long as the second home is,
Over 150. So that's a yes?
yeah, that's true,
That's a good
yeah,
I didn't know that one either.
I got it wrong.
yeah,
I didn't know it had to be over 150.
yeah.
So, as long as their ratios are good though.
Right, of course, so that's all, that, whenever we,
Sure.
yes, that's all else is equal, then, whenever we talk about that. A borrower is allowed 2 FHA loans at the same time if they go over 60 miles. False,
That's false.
so this is 100 miles for FHA. Yeah.
Didn't it used to be 60
It
miles?
used to be 60, yeah. HUD voucher is what? What's a HUD voucher?
Section H housing allowance that is used for qualifying income to buy a house. and
Has
get
anyone,
it.
has anyone contacted you and said, hey Mark, I get a HUD voucher, can I qualify with that?
Yeah.
No. So you can use the income if they have it. But, you know, it has to be a 3-year continuance.
And there's, in that email too that you sent out, there's kind of some specific guidelines for how it's received,
Yes.
whether it can be counted as repayment income.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, I did send out an email about it. I encourage you to just check it to make sure that, alright. So, what else? Get that out of the way. This is 171. Okay, this is a good one right here. So claiming fixed income from Social Security and disability for a family member or child in order to use that income, how does that work?
What number are you at?
170? So if you're trying to claim SSI income, the mom's trying to claim the son, what needs to be in place?
Beneficiary.
Right. Now, it's not just throwing something on their name. You know, hey, let me throw your name on here so I can claim you. It's also,
Borrower
okay,
has to be the beneficiary and have to live in the same house.
yeah, you know, they're gonna be looking for that. Okay, why does he live 1,000 miles away? He's a beneficiary. Well, I've seen loans submitted like that. Oh, so I was trying to use the income to qualify. You know, and so the underwriter has been like, well, I mean, what's the reason?
Right.
You know, and so a lot of the stuff you're gonna see is common sense. And I don't want you to think that I'm coming from a point where I knew all these things I didn't. The reason why I can tell you about all these things, because they happened to me. And so, from experience. And so, let's see, does everyone know what an ARM mortgage is?
Adjustable rate.
Yeah. Okay, right. But does everyone know what a rate lock is?
I don't.
Okay. So what happens is that, you know, the rates you see, they change all the time, and they change multiple times during the day, depending on what's happening in the market. They're just like any other free market, like, you know, copper, corn, wheat, you know, soybeans, the whole thing. And so, the customer's rate is floating until we lock it. And once we lock it, we're securing that interest rate and reserving those funds for our customer. And so, usually we're not gonna lock the rate until we have a conditional approval, because we want to ensure that the loan has been approved. The reason why is that if you have, and we talked about this the other day, one of the things that we observe or analyze is your lock fallout ratio. And if you lock like 10 loans and you only close one, it looks really bad. And what will end up happening is that if you have too high of a lock fallout ratio, then they'll just turn you off from locking rates. And so, because when you're saying I'm locking this rate, that means you want to deliver that loan to closing. Yeah. So, let's see here. Let's see. So, so Mark, in OB, if it shows a price of 99 with a $100,000 loan, what does that mean?
In OB? Oh, Optimus Blue. Yeah, I was thinking like,
If you see a price of 99 with a $100,000 loan, what does it mean?
if you see the price of 199.
No, nine says 99. Price is 99.
Oh,
And you have a $100,000 loan. What does it mean?
that the price is 99? Meaning,
It shows 99, right? For the rate.
oh, for the rate.
Yeah.
One bullet part.
Oh, then, wait, I'm sorry,
So we have 100.
oh, yeah, that's, yeah, if the price is 199, then, yeah, it's basically a point to get that rate.
Okay, what does that mean?
So that means that it would, then, to go, below par, they have to pay a point for a.
Right.
So a
And
point
what-
like a percentage of the loan.
Right.
to get
1%
that
of the
rate.
loan amount. And now that is a tax write-off, and it can be paid with concessions. What they're doing is what's called a buy down. It's prepaid interest, and interest is a write-off, and so they're able to write off a certain percentage of that based on their income tax bracket. So they're buying down their interest rate. We typically don't do it that often, but it can be done if someone wants a lower rate.
Now, when they're buying it and they're saying it can be paid with concessions, can that also be rolled into the loan
If you have the equity, yeah.
if you have the equity?
Yeah. Sometimes we will, you know, if it's a certain type of loan, we may work with them on the rate a little bit. Where, you know, we may bring a deal in and basically, let's say that to get the business in, and I don't like to do this that often, but sometimes it's a really big loan, we'll do it where, I can go in there and I can, you know, if it's at 99, I can make it par.
Yeah, when I was talking to you about the Nahims, the Pascal, and you gave me a 325, I was looking at like how are you
Yeah.
gonna do that?
Well, you just, I mean, that's because I can do that type of
Okay.
thing, and so where we can make a par, yeah,
I went with it, but I was like, I don't know how you're gonna do that.
yeah. I mean, that was at that, whatever at that snapshot of that time. I mean, I don't,
You're not really making it par, right? You're just paying the difference.
what do you mean?
Like we're just basically covering the buy down, right?
Well, that's what that means.
Yeah.
I mean, you're,
So it's for them and we make it par, but we're still gotta cover that buy down.
Right.
well, I mean, no, it's not, it never shows up on the loan.
Oh, it just doesn't show up as points.
Oh, you're talking about some Olivia Pope type stuff, okay.
What?
No, I'm just saying, you got it to where you can do it, and it don't cost them anything.
Right. They won't pay for it.
Yeah, they don't pay for it, but it's still paid for, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, we just cover it because the loan's worth it, right?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, we're,
So this ain't on no $53,000 loan.
yeah, don't come and ask me for anything on 53,000. So we'll take a little bit of a haircut on a 500,000, but not on 50. So, marginal credit loans that are questionable for approval, what do we gotta do? If it's a marginal credit loan and, you know, you wanna issue a pre-approval and we're not sure, what do we gotta do?
What number is that?
Just know it, don't know my
Oh.
number. You just gotta know it.
I mean, I got you.
Yeah. So marginal credit loans, what do I tell you guys to do with those?
AUS.
Right? Run DU, run Gus.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what they say.
Just flip them FHA.
You know, well, I mean, we're running.
That's always the answer.
FHA.
So prior to submitting and filing the processing, Steve, what do we gotta do all the time now?
Red light checklist.
Red light checklist, yeah.
That's my baby now.
Yeah. Hey, can you actually enhance that for me? I think we need to go in there and add some more stuff to it.
Okay.
So,
Really?
Yeah.
That's a lot already.
yeah. Okay. Before you issue a pre-approval, what do you gotta do?
Go through checklists.
Checklist.
Make sure I
Check
have
it off.
all the.
I was surprised, like I've asked you guys about that when you're asking for a pre-approval, and actually I can tell that when I bring those questions up, it's actually making you think about it. To actually go and check those things.
Yeah.
You know, and because it's so easy to overlook all those things, or some of them, or one of them, and that one thing, that one little thing can make all the difference. You know, like tonight we looked at Ortiz and we saw that she had an account in dispute that was a $8,000 charge off. She's got to take that out of dispute. You know, so in selling, what do we always have to do, guys? In selling,
Agree.
always agree.
Needs and wants.
Oh, sell.
Unspoken objections.
Objections, that's right.
Yeah, always agree with the
Oh.
buyer,
Oh, I'm sorry.
and always ask for the business one more time. Always agree, and ask for the business. You have to ask for the business. I was on a call today with Danny's customer that, yesterday, you heard I think you guys heard about it, he terminated the contract. And so, you know, so he's got basically almost a clear to close and dead deal because we didn't close on the 9th because, he says that we're incompetent, but the fact is that, the house was not up to code for FHA because it didn't have the drawstring from the,
Wow.
from the
attic.
attic.
Oh
Yeah,
my
so,
gosh.
yeah.
He didn't have the pull string.
He didn't put it up, and then he told the appraiser he put it up, and he went out there and it wasn't done. So we had to pay for another trip charge, and then he signed the termination yesterday, and this dude's already approved for the loan, and our guy's done. So you know I had to call him today with Danny, and I didn't do it on my own. Danny was there, Josh was there. It was a group effort, but one of the that was the main thing that I had to do with him is I had to make him feel like, how stupid are you? You know, you're an investor, you're a real estate business person, you're gonna lock up this money for another 3 months. I can get you your 140 grand in 10 days, and you wanna sit here and fuss. You got bigger things to think about. Why are you doing this, man? You know, let's just close, man, let's get it done. And I had to ask him like 10 times until he finally conceded, and he extended us to the 25th. But that's the power of knowing how to persuade and negotiate. And Josh made him feel like shit too. But you know, so
I've heard Josh.
But we didn't give up on the deal. To me, I've never lost a loan for something so stupid. And I won't. I'll have to. I got to tell the guy on my team. And he knew he was wrong.
You said last night we're not losing the loan.
Yeah, because it's just so dumb.
Like, no.
You know, I mean, and just to me, what the realtor is like, hey Angelo, don't talk mean to the seller. I was like, well, what do we have to lose? Right now we have a dead deal. I gotta tell him how I feel about this, and I gotta make him see how ignorant he is by not wanting to close. And then he's like, well, I can just get a cash buyer. I said, dude, you can't get a cash buyer, man. You live way down in South Texas.
Oh, and that's
So,
not happening.
so he's like, man, this house is so hot. It's like, dude, come on, man. How long was that house on the market for before you went under contract? He's like 4 or 5 days. And as Danny was in the room, he's like, no, I was on the market for 2 months. So he was lying to me. And so, but the point is that, yes, always ask for the business. And I agree with him, and I told him, look, man, I know you want to close too, and you want to get your money, and I'm an investor too. I want my money, I want to get it done. So let me get you your money. Let me get it. I can get it to you faster than anybody right now. Right? So,
That's a good line.
yeah, but it's true. I'm not lying. I'm telling him exactly the truth, but somebody needs to tell him that and have the balls to do it. And so, so anyway. And that's been a weak point for me for a long time, and I try my best to work on that to get better. Because I grew up in a household where you don't push people, you don't argue, you don't fight, I grew up in that type of household. But the way that I look at it now is that if I don't close that deal, then I'm gonna go without. My family's going without money. So it's either he's closing, or if he doesn't close, I'm losing. You see what I'm saying? I'm hurting my family, my dreams, my goals if he doesn't close. And that makes me want to put the pressure on him.
So did he have another buyer lined up behind that
No.
one, or was he just being?
No, he was bullshit, dude.
Just
So,
being
That's
face-
just-
he was just being facetious.
That's just nutty.
yeah.
That's people, dude.
Yeah, but you're gonna get people like now, but a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to do it. Oh man, this job, why do they make me do this, man? That's part of the job because that's why you're getting paid the money.
Right.
You know, that's the problem. You have to dive into, and I know you're gonna have to. For me, it took me actually years to train my mind to embrace it, and it's still like, oh my god, I gotta call this guy, but you have to change the way you look at it. See, and it's not always easy to do. It's like, oh, I gotta call that guy. But when you do it a lot, and then you get comfortable doing it. In the beginning, it's tough. It's just like anything else. It's like when you lift weights, right? Lifting weights in the beginning is hell, man. You know, I mean, and so but you know, once you increase your repetitions, you know, you get better and better. You figure out, you make the distinctions. You learn how to do proper form.
You actually begin to enjoy it.
Yeah, and then you long for it because that's a discipline. You know, and so what I'm telling you this is because if you have a problem talking to people, you're probably missing out on a lot of monster income. You have to be able to train your mind to embrace that and deal with those issues, and you know, so
That's actually when you begin to close the sale.
huh?
When you get to that point, we're going battling. That's the negotiation game. That's when you find out if you're gonna close or not.
Right. If I order a credit report without someone's permission, what's the consequences?
10K.
10K. That's a lot.
Okay. And I'll just tell them to bill you guys on that. So, but it's very important that you need to get their permission, guys. This credit thing, the reason why I added these is because I don't want this to happen to you. All right, you have to get people's permission now. So if you're doing a loan for Johnny and Johnny's got a fiance, you got to get her permission too. You just can't say, well, just give me the social, Johnny. You know. Now, if they do it online, you automatically have permission from them. But just make sure that you're like, especially on cosigners, you got to get the cosigners' permission too. So, what's the consequence if I order credit report through Funding Suite?
10K.
But what about with credit cards? With
Yeah, then you're going to go back and create a loan number. You have to have a loan number.
okay.
The problem is that if you just order credit report in Funding Suite and you have no loan number, then you're violating our compliance policies.
So how do I add a loan number to one of mine?
Whenever you create a loan, that's what you're doing.
Okay.
When you go in there, you put the person's information and you hit save, you're generating a loan number.
Well, I did it in Funding Street. You paid for it. The loan.
Well, no, but then you're gonna go back and add them into Encompass.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay.
but we have to do that. So when am I allowed to order a FHA case number? Steve, do you know?
The FHA case number?
Yeah, when are you allowed to order a case number?
When all the docs have been signed. Disclosures.
Is that true?
Yeah, disclosure is fine.
Yeah. So if I order the case number before the disclosure is signed, what happens?
Uh-oh.
You gotta redisclose. You gotta cancel the case number.
A lot of work. We gotta start over.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like if you know, whenever you're making a cake and you mix the flour with everything and the eggs and the sugar, and then you come in later and you add the baking powder towards the end. You know, once it's already in the oven, and then you have to. Your cake's not going to rise, not going to work. You have to start over. So.
That's never happened to me, but what if you were to print off, I was trying to think of a way if you were to print off all the disclosures to have them sign them and I guess date them prior.
What do you mean?
Like let's say 9/15 was when the FHA case number was, I guess, grabbed, and then you print off the disclosures and then you have them sign them and date like for the 13th.
You haven't backdate them?
Yeah, and backdate them.
Um,
I'm not looking for a way to to get around it. What I'm saying is, what if, or I am looking in case something would happen. Would that be?
It's still, if they got sent out, then it's still got that trigger date.
Okay. Oh, okay.
This has a timestamp on it, doesn't it? I think in Encompass.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
even when you print them out,
You'll have that.
yeah, well, you can print them out and backdate it, but the thing is, we need to, if you haven't actually sent out disclosures, then you don't have a problem with it.
Okay.
So the problem is if you actually sent them out. So if you already sent disclosures and then didn't create the FHA case number,
Okay.
then,
Yeah, same thing, like, when can you order an appraisal? When? When can appraisal be ordered, guys?
Once the disclosures are done,
Yeah,
Disclosures,
right,
contracts,
right.
and all that.
Okay. If you see a large unsourced deposit in the bank statement that's needed for closing, what do you do with this?
You wait a month.
But a season.
Okay, so you gotta, yeah, that's the season for at least a month. What happens if you have any deposits over $500?
got to explain that.
over five, yeah, it has to be sourced.
So any deposits over $500 in a bank statement have to be sourced.
Why?
They just wanna know where, Josh, why does any deposit over 500 have to be sourced?
Why?
Yeah, yes, why?
Yes.
Cause Josh said so.
The stove goes.
The rules are for down payment funds, they have to come from verifiable sources of risk layer. So if funds are coming from a source that's unacceptable, like, a loan or a cash advance or something like that, there's certain things that are gonna be acceptable, like payroll deposits, a gift, or 401k transfer from checking to savings, and vice versa, wife to husband. Those things are acceptable. When we can't identify the source, then we consider that an unacceptable deposit. And it's a risk layer. If we can't identify where you got the money, then that means that there's something, we shouldn't be lending you money, because you're not really transparent.
That's good.
See what I'm saying? So, first is you need to be able to they have to be transparent enough to where you understand where their situation. If you can't understand it, you can't lend. See what I'm saying?
So if and I heard it, I haven't been able to say it yet, but if I'm in a garage sale, or if I just say, okay, I'm trying to get this house, I have a garage sale, do I need to have a receipt book for everything I sold?
No. What you want to do is you want to do the garage sale like 2 or 3 months before you start the process.
Okay. Just making sure, because you like, can you sell something? I heard it when I first, can you sell something?
Now-
What if
No.
you video?
No, but if they sell, let's say they sell a car. Let's say if they sell a car and they have a bill of sale.
Cars, okay, now bill
Say you sell a car, bill of sale.
bill of sale, and then bank statement showing the funds got into the account, copy of the canceled check,
Do we,
transfer title, and the NADA value or something.
Yeah.
the what?
The value from
Blue Book.
Blue Book or something, any Kelly Book or.
You want a picture of the car?
No.
No.
You have to be able to see, a bill of sale doesn't mean anything, okay? And if they do it in cash, now you have another deposit that's unacceptable.
Gotcha.
So you have to have a titled, something that's titled, it can be titled and then valued, okay? And car is usually very easy to do that with.
Okay.
Yeah, the personal items like,
Furniture.
Big screen TV, PlayStation
stuff.
4s.
there's no telling if that was
Furniture
really
what?
well sold.
People sell furnitures, TV, lawn, machinery, and all that stuff does not have title. Cannot
Was
use
that a
it.
good idea if they listed it on eBay? And then that way you can show the eBay.
Oh,
Transaction history.
Yeah.
You'd like the PayPal transfer or whatever.
But what happens if they never ship it and it's just you just money laundering? It's money laundering, man. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know what happens.
No. So the idea is that if you're selling anything that's a personal item, that you use that money to live off of and let your payroll accumulate in that account.
Now, what happens in a situation where they sell a whole bunch of stuff in the garage, but they give all that money to a friend or family member?
Yeah.
And
Because that we have to verify their deposits,
verify, okay.
and if we can't identify that, then it's unacceptable. Because for that reason, for that.
And if there is a plan like that, just do it before they enter into a contract, so you can have a clean 30 days bank statement.
Yeah, we're gonna just sit on this for about 35 days.
Yeah, there's no way around that.
Yeah, but see, but here's the, but what the reason why we're talking about this, guys, is because when you're pre-approving someone, these conversations have to happen. If deals are getting stuck, hey, later, Michelle, have a good evening. The reason why deals are getting stuck is because you guys aren't having a conversation about cash to close. And you need to have a plan for that. See how deep, look how many details that is.
Yeah.
And you're doing that last minute, that's why the loan, you know, we're going out to market that we're gonna close loans in 2 weeks or less. You have to have this done. You have to have this done. You know, that's the area, that direction that we're going in local and metropolitan markets. That's where we need to be, is closing a loan in 2 weeks or less. And there's no way it can happen unless we fix this. Is that 30 minutes? Okay. So, yeah, I said stop.